Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. I would like to start with the Nasdaq, and the move down on Friday puts our wave 4 that we've had here and we've had over here back and forth over here, but now it settles it in back over here because that 5-wave structure here will see another 5 waves down at that after it's completed here. So there's two patterns that could play out here for wave 4 here or wave 4 over here. One of them is a triangle pattern with the A wave, the B wave, and then an A and a B and a C wave here for wave C, and then D and then E over here, so a triangle pattern. The other is the flat correction, where we can just have a simple A wave, B wave, wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then down for wave 3, 4 and 5, and in wave 3 here we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in both cases you can short. This is pretty much 5 waves coming down here, well, pretty close to the end. So there will be some type of little rally exposing the low, and you can short under the low. You can go to the second low here, and it will either be wave 3 coming down here or it's going to be wave C of C here for this as an A and a B and a C, and then back up for a D wave here. I've just taken this line here just to give it some sort of proportion with the angle of this one here in this case. The other point here is that this market is, in a nutshell, really working with the 15,000. This is what all this is about here. So it's, in one way or another, it's not really going to make a lot of difference for this market if it's going to be a flat correction as an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4, or a wave 4 over here. So yeah, I mean, even if it's a wave 4 over here, this D wave over here will become wave 1 here and back for wave 2 and so on. I mean, it's going to make a difference, but it's not going to make any difference for trend traders that, you know, should be picking it up anything under this wave A low here around the 14,500. It does make a difference for stocks. So yeah, with stocks, with some of the stocks, it makes a bit of a difference here which way this plays out. So if you're going to short the market, then this is the place to do it over here, and that's the same with most of the stocks as well. Now, there's some stocks like Apple that have been sort of already toying with their lows down here. So let's go and have a look at Apple, because in those cases, yes, the market, there's Apple, there's NVIDIA, there's some others. Those ones that have been playing on their lows, yes, they can go further down. But let's just go in and have a look at some of those. So this is Apple here. Just before we get into that particular count and so on, I just want to go over to here and check and just point out that with Apple here, you can see that there's been a fair amount of volume in this. I mean, of course, that you know, we've seen sort of increasing volume as this drop has been here, and there's been a lot of volume in all of this as well. So yeah, look, it could come down, and there's different ways to count all of this as well. And normally there's some sort of, you know, correlation between the length of wave A here and the length of wave C. There can be some sort of, you know, it's just a bit of a yardstick really, you know. So we could see it, certainly if the Nasdaq, for example, is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here, Apple doesn't need to be the one that drags it down this far. But that timing of events to get, you know, further down here is something. So I'm not that keen on shorting something at a previous low with that much volume in it, so to speak. And there's different ways to count this little sharp move down here. So yeah, so just pointing the volume thing out for this particular market. So yeah, look, as I mentioned, it's possible for it to move down into 165, and if that's the case, we'll start looking for long trades in a bit of a nutshell on top of 172 here. But in the meantime with this, yeah, I mean, if you're still short here, just put the stop above the last high. So let's just go into this on the intraday here. Let me just Monday morning, getting brain cells working and so on. Yeah, I'm going to look at it as an A and a B and a C. I mean, the thing with this too, by the way, is that I've got this as wave 4 1 degree higher than or most of the other markets, and the reason for that in a way is that, you know, the stock markets around the world had their lows in October, where this market had an extra move down through to here. So it's kind of in a different vibe and in a different same pattern really, but it's just sort of slightly different. So anyway, just point that out. So let's just go to 1000 ticks and then 100 ticks here. So we're looking at it in terms of an ABC pattern here. I mean, I always could see 5 waves down to this point here, but it does make the third wave. It makes it nice and strong, but the rally was like, you know, quite large. Rather than 40%, it was like 60%. So for a wave 4, that's a little bit sort of big, but I can also see too, this was sharp here, and this is sort of reluctantly moving down. So I see the volume, I see this is reluctantly moving down. So it could be that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm not even sure which top to play out here with this. So it looks like it, you know, either that spiky one, which I don't like spikes, or it would have to be this one here. But yeah, so just really, yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would probably end up further down. I mean, if the 72 became the resistance, then I could look at it, but I feel like it could come down with the rest of the market. But at the same time, I feel in some sort of, I don't feel the move down is complete because it hasn't taken the low out here, but I can see that it doesn't want to come down any further, but it will be pulled down with the rest of the markets, I'd imagine. So rightio, so just into 100 ticks and looking at this a little bit closer here. Oops. So we can put this stop above the spike here with this. It doesn't really count as 5 waves up here. You could probably, you know, do it. But anyway, I'll just see where we are with this. You know, we've been taking profits on this, so I'll just leave it for the time being. Like I said, if you wanted to short it, you could look to short it under here for that, probably under this one here probably. But I don't even know where that was now, but yeah, I'll just leave that there for the time being. And let's put this over here, and then we come over to Amazon. Now this is where it makes it a little bit difficult, because if we look at the triangle pattern here, because wave 4's out of the 11 or 12 different types of patterns, corrective patterns that can occur, they can pretty much all happen in wave 4. So we could view this as a triangle or a flat, or it may even get more complicated. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. But you can imagine if this had just an A and a B and a C wave down here for this C wave here, and then a D and then an E here. So either that pattern playing out in Amazon, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down here. So it kind of leaves it this either the 3 waves coming down here, or we're going to get 5 waves coming deeper down here. I've got this here as wave 3 over here with an A wave and ABC for the B wave up here. I mean, as this would be an expanded flat too, so so technically it would come back below this wave A here. So I think the main thing here is that obviously we can't trade long, so we don't have to worry about trading long. You could trade short, like on the retest of this. This is where it would have to be, this down here as well, wave A, or we'll just put this as 1 and 2 here. So the wave 2 in this instance, this will be, if we just open this up a little bit here, we're pretty close to having 5 waves down from the top here. I think this is some sort of ABC pattern going back up here. So there's a couple of things you could look at here. We'll probably see a move back up here, which will leave this low exposed. So you could short it up here. There's pretty clear indication that we have 5 waves here. We know that with the other markets we're going to have that 5 waves down as well, but the safe trade would be probably under here in this case, or I mean shorting it under that. You know, if this is going to be an A and a B and a C, it doesn't really give you much here. You might as well short it up here, or you know, under here for that. So we just got to be, you know, I don't know how far this is going to go down. That's the problem at this point. I've got this as wave 1 up here. This would be the same as Tesla, but Tesla also sort of bothers me as well. We'll have a bit of a look at that. We can count 5 waves up with Tesla, but there is a way to count it up with an ABC pattern as well. So we'll need to be a bit mindful what we do. But like I said, we don't have any long trades playing out at the moment. This is NVIDIA, and yeah, so wave 3, an A and a B and a C for wave 4 here. So we're looking at this as wave 3 and 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here for this. You could also short this as well. We've sort of cleared the low over here. We've had the retracement. I mean, I was a bit slow off the mark, but that would have been the short trade at that point for this. But this here appears to be 5 waves down, and there may be one more little low in here, but it would leave you with some type of little correction here, and you could either short it up here or wait for the second low here and take that on. So that would be the bearish side of it at that point. And meta platform, so we're also looking at this in terms of the same with the S&P and the Nasdaq as an A and a B wave here now, and a C wave here for wave 4. So I'll just cut to the chase here and go to 100 ticks. So we're going to look at it as wave 3 here, and the A wave, and then an A, B, and C here for the B wave, and then we're going to look at this coming down as well here. So I don't think I've cleaned this up here, but could we get a triangle out of this? Of course we can. So we just need to be a little bit careful about this. But the good thing about this, in a way, is that it is leaving us with this first high above the level. Well, it's not the first high above the level. We've had this one over here, but now we've got this one, and we'll try to improve on that now. So this is kind of taking shape nicely. If you wanted to short it, then this little ABC pattern here would come into play over here. It may only, it may not want to leave this number here, and in that case we'd have to look at the 50-60% retracement level. If you're going to trade in this, I just, on all of these, just keep it smaller position sizes, and you won't get into too much strife at that point. But this wave 2 over here, then we'll be able to bring our long trade down to here eventually, So we'll just be patient here, and this will be the long trade over here when it comes. Unless we get some sort of triangle here, that'll be an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, a D wave, and an E wave over here, and then up. So, but you know, all of this over here, this is the only trade that's going to be here for a while in the markets. So you either take this one or you sit it all out. Netflix, so this top over here, I'm going to look at this as the A wave and ABC over here, like we have been. You're probably out of this. If you're not out of it, which is keeping the stop out of the way until the 400 becomes the resistance. So this could also have another 5 waves down like the other markets, you know. So I just put this trend line in here from the top base trend line through to here. So we could probably expect, once it's finished fluffing around and retesting the 400, we could see it down into minor group 2 here, 365, 372 and 380 at that point. I'm not going to create a trade for that. We've had our trade out of that, and yeah, so Alphabet here. So this, I sort of thinking about this, and you know, most of the other markets have completed their wave 3s. You know, the Nasdaq has got its wave 3 over here. We've been in wave 4 here for a month or so. But with Google here, I can count it quite nicely as 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up here. And I think there's one more little high in here. We'll check on that. But I don't think it's had its wave 4 just yet. I think it's I thought it might have been in front of the market, and it still may be. I mean, if we're in this, if we end up in this triangle pattern here, we only have 3 waves down here, well then a lot of these stocks that we're looking at will just have 3 waves down and then continue to push up again. But yeah, in the meantime, I'll just keep it like this. And Microsoft is the same as well. Just have a look at 20k tick here, just give you a bit of an idea. I mean, there is a bearish count for this as well, but I'm not going to go there today. So 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for wave 5 of 3 in this case. So I'll either put this market in front of the other markets or behind. They're the only 2 options that we've got at this time. It's a bit difficult to call this some sort of A wave, B wave up here, so to speak. So yeah, and being at group 1 here, there's good support at here now. So even if it was a wave 4, I think it would be quite small. But we have to wait for this top to be in here. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then there'll still be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's still another little high here. So we're just going to go to, I think I've got something on here that will explain it. Oh no, this is not quite right. It needs to go over here. It needs to go here. It needs to go, oh no, sorry. Yeah, this is my bearish count. Sorry, I should just leave this. This is a bearish count. This is where the bearish count finishes up here. This is it here as an ABC pattern here. Still one more little high here. So but anyway, we'll just take that to the 100 ticks. And this here. So 3, 4 here. And from wave 4, we're going up to wave 5 here. We've been in this for a while. I've just relabeled it a little bit differently. But 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then from wave 4, we're going up to wave 5. So let me just open this up a little bit. So from wave 4 here, we're looking at this as wave 1 here, and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 to finish off. So I think that while those other markets are having their little rally in terms of a wave 2, I think that we could look at this with another move to the upside. I could possibly, it's a bit tricky in here to do that, a bit tricky to put that in here and here. and finish that off in here. It doesn't really count very nicely up here for that. If worst comes to worst, we'll have to do that, but otherwise I'm just going to put this back over here. It does look like 5 waves here to this point though, I have to say. I mean, if it dropped out of group 2 here, which would be the 13650, then you could be on the short side at that point, but otherwise we still need to see one more little top coming in here. How far that will go, I'm not sure. It'll just depend on sentiment and volume and, well, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, anyway, close to a top here. So I think Microsoft is pretty much the, oh no, Microsoft is different, but still Microsoft has got wave 3 over here. We toyed with it having wave 4 over here. It's the same thing again over here as well. If we have 3 waves down here, then we could probably squeeze wave 1 here and then 2 here and then move up from that point. But otherwise, if it's going to be with the other markets, we'll have to put this wave 4 over here and look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to come down. So a bigger ABC, it's in its 50, it doesn't really matter about that. And this here can be traded, I mean, can be counted in different ways, but most of the markets that have got this first A wave like this little pattern here, is quite a common pattern in the markets in this time space as well. Most of them are an A and a B and a C wave here, so that's what I've done here. If you want to short here, then this is the place to do it here. It'll leave that low exposed at some point, and it'll have something here. You could short them under here for this. You could, if you can't see that, you could short them under here looking for the resistance, finding the first low below. You won't know where that low is until it moves up at that point, you know. And you may not get very far, or you may get down here for that. That's the risk. They're all the same. Most of the markets are all the same at this point. So yeah, just choose your market and do that. So with Tesla here, we've been counting up as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then going up for 5 here. This could be a little bit different here. We could put it here. I've got it here, but 1, 2 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3rd, 4th and 5th. I think they look, it could have a top in it, but I think there could be one more little move up here for that. The other thing here that I wanted to talk about is that I could put this up here as wave C of B as well here. So that would come in this little move here that I never really understood that much. Now I could probably see this here as an A wave and a B wave to here, and then wave 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 up here for the C wave, you know. It's the proportions are not there, so it could be, certainly could be wrong, but it's just a little bit, it was just a little bit weird, this move here. So it's possible to look at it as an A and a B and then all the way up for a C wave. In that case, then we would end up coming back down here, covering this gap down here, of course, and back into the 200 for a bounce at that point. That would be in line with the you know, with the other markets at this stage, and we could look at that. It's pretty hard. Let me just bring in a bit more data here for this. See, we haven't really passed this top up here, so that's why I think we could still be in a B wave here. It doesn't really matter. We'll just wait and see, because what will happen at the end of the day, if it's going to be an ABC, if it's going to be an A and a B and a C wave here, then we can go along above here. We'll also see an impulse wave up here that we could buy the ABC back here and go along at this point. So in a way, it doesn't matter. The only thing is that matters really is that it'll come back to the 50-60% area, which will be in here anyway. That's kind of where the volume turned over, and there's a big number here, so it's going to find support here. So we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, you could short it, but I don't really have a good setup at this stage here. Just pointing out that there's two ways we could view this. One is you know, one is down here and the other one is down here and then moving up again at that point. And this one coming down and moving up again here, that's the same for Microsoft, maybe even Google. We could get away with that as well. It'll just depend. It'll all depend on, just coming back to the Nasdaq for a moment, it'll all just depend if we're going to get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third wave, so down to the third wave, fourth wave and fifth wave here as a flat correction at A, B and C, or we get the triangle pattern, which will hold a lot of, you know, it'll hold this market up into, you know, closer to this 15,000 area here for that. And this is the same with the S&P as well, by the way. You know, they're doing the same thing. So that's it. So just to wrap it up, we're back again to this wave 4, and I don't know if we've got a triangle or a flat correction. So the good news is, though, that you know, at least we're a little bit clear now that, you know, when there's pretty much, you know, could we put wave 4 over here and look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 with an A and a B and a C here for wave 2? Yeah, I don't think so, because that's 5 waves here, so that's going to definitely play out over here. So that's going to give us, you know, it could give us the triangle pattern as an ABC pattern here, and we're still left with the triangle pattern. So yeah, look, I just think that we've got a buying opportunity coming in the markets. It's just not yet, that's all. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Cheers.